One of the topics that you will be dealing with on the HSA is dealing with data, and so I wanted to create a video for you to review the main ways that we look at data in Algebra 1. And a lot of this can be done on the calculator, so one of the things that I'm going to be doing in this video is just reviewing with you how to use your calculator to get the information that you need. Remember that the HSA is a multiple choice test. You don't have to show your work, so you will, and you're allowed to use your calculator for the entire test. So particularly with the data, you'll be able to get a lot of this information off your calculator in order to answer the questions. Remember from Algebra 1 or middle school that the mean of a set of data, and this is in the packet that you have, it's on the first page of the packet, the mean of a set of data is another way of describing the average. So sometimes we talk about averaging grades. Well, that's the same thing as saying finding the mean. And when you find your average or the mean of a set of grades, you add up, so there's the sum, you add up all of the values, and then you divide by the number of elements in your data. So for example, you can see right here we have a set of data. These might represent, well, they could represent anything. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add up all of the data, and we would do this with our calculator. And then we're going to divide by the number of elements in the data, and there are 6 elements in the data, and so we get 27. And I am going to show you how to do this with your calculator, how to get this information. The median, if you think about when you drive down the highway in the middle of the 2 lanes of traffic, there is a median that runs down the middle of the highway. So remember, the word median indicates the middle number in a set of data. And so you have to put the data, it's very important that you're going to put the data in order. And if there is an even number of values, in other words, there would be 2 numbers that are in the middle. If there's an even number of values, the median is halfway between the 2 middle values. In other words, you have to add the 2 middles and divide by 2. So if there are 2 middle numbers, you add the 2 middles and divide by 2. The mode is an easy one to remember because mode sounds like the word most, and it is the number that occurs most often in the data. So if you have a set of data like we do here, all you're doing is, is by inspection. Oh, sorry, let me undo that. All you're doing is by inspection, looking at the data, and trying to figure out what number occurs most often. Now in this data you can see that 21 occurs twice, 30 occurs twice, so there are 2 modes. There can be more than one mode if 2 numbers occur the same amount of times and they occur the most often. Alright, so let's do an example and use our calculator to find the mean, the median, the mode of the following data. Now on the next page in your packet are the step-by-step instructions of how to use your calculator if you get lost. I'm going to do this problem from the very beginning to the very end, showing you how to enter the data and everything. But then in other problems, I'll probably have the data already in the calculator, assuming that you can follow the steps in your packet to do that. Now this is a stem and leaf graph, and we've been asked in this problem to find the mean, median, and mode of the data. Now remember, this is the stem, so in this case right here, usually there's a key that will say something like 1/0 is equal to 10, so you know how the stem and leaf is working. So in this case, these numbers in the first row are 2, 5, 5, 6, 9, and then we have 10, 12, 15, 18, 19, 22, 24, 24. So I'm going to enter the data by pressing Stat. I'm going to press number 1 or enter so I can enter the data. Now the first thing you'll notice is that there are numbers already in my calculator, so I'm going to go up to the top of the list. I'm going to hit clear and enter, and that data will be gone. I'll do the same thing for list number 2. Highlight the list number 2, hit clear and enter, and then the data is gone. Alright, so I'm going to enter the data from my from my problem to again in the second row, remember it's 10, 12, etc. Let me get all the data in there. Now make sure if you're viewing this that you do this as well on your calculator to make sure that you understand rather than just watching. Okay, so let's make sure I have this. It says I have 14 pieces of data. Let's make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh no, it's waiting for 14, so we're good to go. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do to find the mean median mode using my calculators, I'm going to hit stat. Now the next thing that we can do this now or we can do it later, but we probably are going to want to sort this data, and the reason we want to sort this data is because it can help us more easily find the mode. So I'm going to arrow down to number 2, and then I'm going to press enter, and then it's asking me what is it that you want to sort, and we want to sort the data that's in list number 1. So I'm going to type second 1, and you can see that the L1 is in there, and I'm going to press enter, and it's telling me the data is sorted. Now I don't see it yet until I go back and actually look at the data. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do to get the information that I need is to go back to stat. Now this time I'm going to arrow to the right and for calc because I want to get some calculations. I want the calculator to do some calculations for me. And I'm going to select number 1 because I only have one variable. I only have one list of data. And I press enter. And again, it's waiting for me to tell it where the data is. Now you can hit enter, or you can go ahead and tell it that tell the calculator that the data is in list 1 again, and enter. Okay, and then you can see that the calculator is giving you lots of information here. Now one of the things you need to know, and again this is in your packet, it's on one of the pages, it tells you all this information. X bar, that is always the mean. So the first thing that I notice is that the mean of my data from the calculator is 13.15. That's the average of the data. The median, to see that on your calculator, you're going to have to scroll down until you find MED for median, and there it is right there at the bottom. The median is 12. That's the number that's in the middle of the data. Now to get the mode, remember mode is the number that occurs most often. I'm going to go back to my list of data because remember we told the calculator to sort it. So I went back to stat, to edit, and now my data is listed in order. So I'm just going to, by inspection, look at the data. I see 2 number 5s. Let's just arrow down. And I see 2 24s. So there are 2 numbers that occur twice. So in this case, the modes are 5 and 24. And that's how I use my calculator to get that data. All right, let's take a look at another problem. And this is the page that I was talking about in your packet that explains how to do this step by step. So you want to practice this a lot and make sure that you know how to do this without your instructions when you take the HSA. All right, let's take a look at the next problem, and then we'll probably start a new video. In this problem, Matt caught 6 fish and recorded each of their weights as shown in the table below. Find the mean and the median of the data. Now, at first glance, you might think that we're going to have a list number 1 and a list number 2, but that is not the case here. In this data, This column right here, all it's telling me, it's just numbering the fish. It's saying that fish number 1, fish number 2, fish number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. There was only one fish caught each time. It's just numbering them. So the data that we're interested in is the weight of the fish, because that tells us right here, that's the important column. So we're going to go back to the calculator. We're going to enter the data in the calculator. Remember to clear. We're going to arrow up, highlight list number 1, clear, enter. All right, we're going to enter our new data, 2, 3, 2, 4, 32, and 5. Okay, we're going to go to Stat. We're going to sort the list again so that we can get the, so we can get the mode. So at second L1, and now the list will be sorted when we look at it again. Now we want to actually get the mean and the median. So we're going to calc one variable statistics because I only have one set of data. The data is in list number 1. Press enter, and there's my information. So the mean of the data is 8. Remember, that's X bar. The median is 3.5. And let's find the number that occurs most often by going back to Stat, Edit, and looking at the data. There are 2 2s, and that's it. The mode of the data, it didn't ask me for the mode, but we'll go ahead and do it just for practice. The mode of the data is 2. Now the next question that they're asking us is, which measure of central tendency, and when they say which measure, they're talking about mean, median, or mode. Which of these 3 should Matt use to best represent the typical weight of the fish he caught? Now, although Matt caught one fish that weighed 32 pounds, and he's going to be really excited about that, that's going to pull our average higher than it really should be. It's going to pull the mean higher than what was typical. So we're looking for the typical weight of the fish that he caught. Now when you look at the weights of the fish, we have 2, 3, 2, 4, 5. 32 would be considered an outlier. It doesn't fit in with all of the other data. So the best measure of central tendency would be the median because it's basically in the middle of the data. 2 doesn't necessarily represent the typical weight because he did have a weight of 3, 4, and 5. And honestly, in most cases, the median is the value that will best represent data. Okay, this is the end of the first video. I'm going to do more examples on other videos. So this is video number 1. Look for video number 2 for more information from the packet.